So today we're preparing the land for the sow spring barley. The crop of spring barley will generally for us go as feed, to feed the animals throughout the winter. But the same principle would apply to this if you were growing spring barley for malting, for whiskey, or making beer. So my dad's been in already with the rotavator, and he has chipped up the stalks that's left behind from the maize, just to try and reduce them in size a wee bit so that they don't trail through the field with the other machines. So we're now in with the cultivator to give it a run through, and basically the legs at the front lift the soil, aerate it, break down the lumps, and the disc comes behind to compact that back down in a finer seed bed that we can then come with our seed drill and plant the barley seeds. It's important after the maize to run these legs through and give it a wee bit of a lift, because the big tractors and trailers hauling the maize silage out that was used to feed the cattle over the winter are heavy and cause compaction, and especially when it's sort of October time and the ground's damper, you can get compaction. So we now have the finished run left behind with the cultivator, and you can see the soil's broken down, and we have a loose tilth there that we can come now and plant our barley seeds into afterwards. This is where the farm and gamble starts to come in. We're out in the field here now trying to sow the spring barley. We've let it dry out from yesterday. Conditions are pretty good, but as we all know, there's rain coming tomorrow. So it's a case of, can we get it in and get it dried out for a few hours before the rain comes? Because if we can do that, it's a major help in allowing the soil to be able to take the conditions of the rain, so that the rain doesn't affect how the following crop can grow. There you can see we're starting to uncover the seeds. There's another one there. So our seeds spaced out nicely with room to grow and covered enough in the soil that they don't sit on top of the ground. This green cover bits and pieces, that was our cover crop that was sprayed off with glyphosate. So that will all die off now and disappear, and give us a nice clean seed bed, hopefully reducing our reliance on herbicides following to keep the crop clean. So we'll keep motoring to beat the weather. can use my live weather app to track where the rain currently is, try and give us a sense of how long we've got, or whether we think the rain will hit us or miss us. It can be very useful, especially if you're spraying chemicals or something like that, knowing you need a weather window of a couple of hours of dry weather before rain, or else you've lost your product. So if I just play that, that'll show you the last 15 minutes weather. So we can currently see that the rain's sitting out across the west of Ireland, across Donegal, etc. there. So they're getting rain at the moment. As you can see, my favourite member of the wildlife has turned up to spoil the party. They'll be hoking and digging for worms and grubs and bits and pieces that they can find. But I'll also be sure to be taking a lot of the good seeds that I've just planted and paid good money for. So we'll have to put in place more mitigating measures to keep them away. Just finishing off the outside of this field here now, and that'll be one done and ready to move on to the next one. Just back to the yard, we're going to pop another bag of seed in with the forklift. The hopper holds quite a bit of seed, but you generally put 500 kilos in at a time. So the hopper's down enough, we'll get our next bag in before we go to the next field. Screen of the tractor, and it can tell us everything from the general, the same as your car, your speed, your RPM, etc. But we have it programmed here for the horse drill. It can tell us how many acres we've done, how many gallon of fuel we're using to the acre, how many acres to the hour we're managing, or how many gallons to the hour. And then we have our horse control box with everything from our tramline settings, which I've turned off, because the GPS and the sprayer will put them in itself. We have our fan speed, our speed that the drill is going at when we're in operation, and again it can correlate to how many kilograms of seed we've used, how many hectares we've planted, the distance we've travelled actually, how long it's taken to do that. It's inside the hopper there, and that gives me an idea of what seed's left in the drill, just to keep an eye that we're not running out, even though there is sensors on the control box to tell me. It just lets me know how low we're getting. If we finish a field or come to one end, I know then it's a good time to start and go and fill the seed. Where the rain is at the moment, still quite far out the west, so it's very slow moving, this band of rain, but we've got a bit coming up here from Dublin, which could be what causes us a problem. Let's hope it will move out across the Irish Sea and miss us, because we are getting on quite well, so we'd hope to try and keep continuing. If we can skip it for a while longer, we'll get it all sowed, which would be great. Just out checking that we've no blocked pipes to make sure we get seeds in all the rows. So literally, the pipes come down the sewer and out through the disc here. And if I put my hand under the disc, I can feel the air. And that's the air blowing the seed down the pipe. So if you can feel air, generally your pipe's not blocked. There's no air coming. This pipe could be full of seed rather than it being on the ground. That's it, all sowed. We're just out in the fields here, putting out a few bags on electric fence posts to try and blow about, scare the crows for a day or two, keep them from eating all the seeds. And hopefully the rain's not too heavy, but it's definitely on its way. We've been very lucky so far and missed all the heavy stuff that's went out around us, but we're in for it now, I think.